Do you know the power you hold over someone who tries to hide their feelings? The avoidant, they may act distant, aloof, or even indifferent, but deep down, they can't stop thinking about you. And that's the truth. What seems like emotional detachment on the surface is often an internal storm, a whirlwind of thoughts about you. This is about recognizing your own value and understanding human psychology. When someone who avoids intimacy can't stop thinking about you, it's not about them. It's about the energy, the impact, the presence you bring into their life. So let me break it down for you, so you can harness this understanding and transform your relationships, and more importantly, yourself. Just because someone distances themselves from you doesn't mean they're not thinking about you. Avoidant individuals often give off the impression that they don't care, that they're detached or uninterested, but that's rarely the truth. The behavior you see on the outside, the pulling away, the emotional unavailability, the careful boundaries, is a defense mechanism, a way for them to protect themselves from vulnerability. Beneath that exterior, their mind is constantly occupied with thoughts of you. They replay your conversations, analyze your expressions, and wonder about the choices you make. They might not openly express it, but internally, your presence dominates their thoughts. This is the paradox of avoidance. The more they act like they don't care, the more their mind is consumed by the very person they seem to push away. It's important to recognize that this isn't about manipulation or games. It's about human psychology and the way the brain processes connection. Avoidant individuals often fear intimacy, rejection, or losing control, so they create distance to feel safe. But safety doesn't erase curiosity, fascination, or emotional attachment. It merely hides it. When you understand this, you begin to see that their distance doesn't reflect the lack of interest, but rather a complex internal struggle that keeps you on their mind. They may leave gaps in communication, delay responses, or seem emotionally unavailable, yet every action is filtered through thoughts of you. They might analyze the things you've said, remember your laughter, your gestures, the energy you bring into their life, and all this circulates in their mind like an endless loop. Even when they appear detached, they're mentally present. Your actions, your words, your presence linger with them long after the moment has passed. And here's the crucial insight. This dynamic highlights the power you hold simply by being authentic and confident. You don't have to chase their attention or force engagement. Your natural energy, your genuine self is enough to occupy their thoughts. Avoidants are drawn to what they cannot fully grasp, to what challenges their defenses, and that is precisely why distance does not equate to disinterest. When you internalize this understanding, you stop misreading avoidance as rejection, and instead you see it as evidence of influence and impact. You begin to recognize that being on someone's mind isn't a product of manipulation or effort. It's a reflection of presence, energy, and authenticity. This knowledge changes the way you perceive interactions, empowering you to maintain your self-respect while allowing the avoidant to navigate their own emotional landscape. You no longer feel the need to fill silence or force closeness because you understand that their thoughts are already consumed with you, even in the quiet moments when it seems like nothing is happening. The power of curiosity is extraordinary, especially when it comes to someone who seems emotionally distant. Avoidant individuals often appear detached, but behind that exterior, their mind is constantly replaying interactions, analyzing behaviors, and imagining possibilities. Every word you've said, every glance, every laugh becomes a puzzle piece they can't stop examining. They think about how you react, what you might feel, and even what you might do next. Their thoughts are not idle. They're active, intricate, and persistent. This is why curiosity is such a powerful force. It drives their attention even when they try to suppress it. You become a subject of fascination because their mind is wired to process and interpret connection in a cautious way. Unlike people who openly express their feelings, avoidants tend to internalize, overthink, and mentally revisit scenarios. They imagine conversations they didn't have, reconsider things you said, and explore countless what-if situations. Every interaction is magnified in their mind, not because they are obsessed in a negative sense, but because they are drawn to what challenges them emotionally and intellectually. Your presence, your choices, and your energy become central to their internal world. This constant replay creates an undeniable mental imprint. While they may act like they are unaffected, the truth is that your influence lingers far longer than you might realize. They may not text immediately, may avoid direct conversations, or might even seem indifferent at times, but their curiosity ensures that they are always thinking about you. Their mind works overtime to decode your personality, your intentions, and your reactions, and this process is often subconscious. This is where you realize the impact of being authentic and present. You don't need to perform or chase their attention. Simply by being yourself, by expressing your energy genuinely, you stimulate their curiosity and occupy their mental space. Every confident action you take, every self-assured moment, reinforces your presence in their thoughts. Curiosity ensures that you remain unforgettable because the avoidant brain is wired to focus on what it doesn't fully understand or can't fully control. The more you embrace your uniqueness, the more their mind will revisit your interactions, your laughter, and your essence. Understanding this dynamic shifts the perspective from frustration to empowerment. You begin to see that even when someone distances themselves, their internal curiosity keeps you alive in their thoughts. It is not about playing games or manipulating attention. It is about recognizing the deep psychological forces at play. Your energy resonates, your authenticity matters, and their mental preoccupation is proof that they are captivated, even if they don't admit it outwardly. Words can be powerful, but presence is far more influential. The energy you bring into a room, the confidence you carry, and the authenticity you radiate create an imprint that lingers long after conversations end. Avoidant individuals are particularly sensitive to presence because they tend to analyze emotional cues rather than openly express their own feelings. Your energy, the way you move, the way you smile, the way you hold yourself, leaves a mark on their mind that words alone cannot. While they may not verbally acknowledge it, they replay your presence over and over, recalling the warmth of your laughter, the subtle gestures that reveal your personality, and the way your confidence shapes the interaction. Presence is about being fully engaged in yourself, in the moment, and in the connection without overthinking or forcing a reaction. It's about showing that you are grounded, secure, and unapologetically yourself. When someone who tends to avoid intimacy encounters this kind of energy, it is magnetic. They may try to rationalize it or maintain distance, but internally they are drawn to it. They notice the nuances, the way you command attention without seeking it, the way you express emotions in a balanced, authentic way, and the way you engage without neediness or desperation. These subtle cues create a lasting impression that sticks in their memory. Presence also communicates self-respect and emotional independence. Avoidants are often wary of vulnerability because they fear losing control or being consumed by another person's needs. When you show that you are whole on your own, confident in your energy, and engaged in life, it both challenges and fascinates them. They see that you are not defined by their approval, and this sparks a continuous loop of thought in their mind. They wonder, analyze, and revisit the moments spent with you. Your presence becomes a reference point, a standard of energy and engagement that they cannot ignore. It's not about grand gestures or carefully crafted words. It's about authenticity. It's about how you carry yourself in the room, how your emotions resonate naturally, and how your confidence communicates your value without saying it out loud. Every interaction becomes layered with significance because your presence communicates more than any conversation ever could. For the avoidant, this makes you unforgettable. The mind notices energy more than words. They may attempt to distance themselves physically or emotionally, but the imprint of your presence lingers in their thoughts, shaping the way they perceive connection and engagement. Understanding this gives you the power to focus on being fully yourself rather than trying to control their reaction. It is your presence that makes the difference, leaving a subtle but undeniable mark that keeps them thinking about you long after the moment has passed. Mirroring energy is a subtle yet incredibly powerful tool when it comes to interactions with avoidant individuals. They are drawn to strength, confidence, and emotional stability because these qualities give them a sense of safety without forcing vulnerability too quickly. When you maintain your own grounded energy, you signal that you are in control of your emotions, your choices, and your presence in the world. This doesn't mean you try to manipulate their behavior or mimic them to gain attention. It means you embody your own authenticity while reflecting a calm, confident energy that they subconsciously recognize and respect. Avoidants are wired to notice subtle cues. They pay attention to how someone carries themselves, how they react under pressure, and how they handle moments of tension or distance. When you mirror strength and emotional independence, you demonstrate that you are not reliant on their approval or validation. This makes you magnetic because it challenges their usual patterns of pushing people away. Instead of reacting to their distance with anxiety or neediness, you maintain your equilibrium, which naturally draws their attention. Your energy becomes a mirror that shows them stability and self-assuredness, something they often struggle to maintain themselves. This dynamic creates a mental loop where they continually revisit your actions and behavior. analyzing what it is about you that remains steady and compelling even in the face of their avoidance. They notice your consistency, your calm under pressure, and your ability to engage without over-investing emotionally too soon. It is this reflection of energy that keeps you present in their thoughts. Mirroring energy is also about emotional resonance. Avoidants are often highly perceptive to tone, body language, and unspoken communication. When you maintain a strong, positive, and grounded presence, it resonates with them on a subconscious level, creating a connection without forcing intimacy. They feel your confidence, your clarity, and your self-possession, and it leaves an indelible mark in their mind. By staying aligned with your own energy, you allow them to experience curiosity and interest naturally rather than through coercion or pursuit. This is the essence of being magnetic, drawing attention and thought not through effort or games, but through the simple, powerful act of embodying your own strength. The more you mirror calm, confidence, and emotional independence, the more they are compelled to think about you, even when they try to maintain distance. Is not about manipulation. It is about self-mastery, presence, and understanding the subtle psychological dynamics at play. Every interaction becomes a reflection of your authenticity, and every moment you maintain your energy reinforces your influence in their mind. Your value is non-negotiable, and understanding this is one of the most powerful shifts you can make in any relationship, especially with someone who tends to avoid intimacy. Avoidant individuals often try to create distance because they fear vulnerability or feel uncomfortable with emotional intensity, but your worth is not something that should ever be compromised to accommodate their fears. When you fully embrace your own value, it communicates a silent but undeniable message. You respect yourself, you know your boundaries, and you are not willing to settle for less than you deserve. This self-respect acts as a magnetic force, drawing attention and curiosity from the avoidant person because it highlights qualities they may lack or struggle to maintain themselves. When you chase approval or adjust your behavior to reduce their discomfort, you diminish your own presence and reduce the impact of your energy. But when you stand firm, honor your own needs, and prioritize your own growth, your authenticity resonates at a deeper level. Avoidants are subconsciously drawn to strength and independence. They notice confidence, self-assuredness, and consistency in someone's behavior, even if they try to maintain emotional distance. By refusing to negotiate your value, you force a mental recognition of your worth. Your boundaries, your self-confidence, and your refusal to accept less than you deserve all work together to ensure that you remain present in their thoughts. They may not be able to express it outwardly, but internally, your steadfastness and independence create fascination and attention. This is why focusing on your value is more than just self-empowerment. It is a strategic and natural way to influence dynamics without manipulation. When you honor yourself, you also create space for healthier interactions. Avoidants are drawn to what challenges their comfort zones, and your unwavering self-worth acts as both a mirror and a magnet. They reflect on your strength and cannot help but notice the contrast between your grounded energy and their own emotional avoidance. Every action you take that prioritizes your growth, happiness, and confidence reinforces your influence in their mind. They may question why you are unaffected by their distance or why you remain steady in your presence, and that curiosity keeps them mentally engaged. Valuing yourself is not about ego or arrogance. It is about clarity, integrity, and self-respect. It communicates to the world and to the avoidant individual that you are not defined by their approval, that you are whole on your own, and that your energy, your presence, and your worth are undeniable. By internalizing this principle, you not only strengthen yourself, but you also create dynamics where the avoidant is naturally drawn to think about you, reflect on your qualities, and recognize the value you bring into their life, whether they admit it or not. Understanding the patterns of an avoidant individual is not about control or manipulation. It is about empowerment and awareness. When you know how they think, how they react, and why they behave the way they do, you gain clarity that transforms your approach to relationships and your own sense of self. Avoidants often struggle with emotional vulnerability, fear of dependency, and a need to maintain autonomy, which can make their actions seem confusing or inconsistent. But when you recognize these patterns, you stop taking their distance personally, and instead you see it as a reflectio, and of their internal process, not a measure of your worth. This knowledge equips you with the ability to navigate interactions with confidence, composure, and strategic emotional intelligence. You can engage in relationships without losing yourself, without overanalyzing every reaction, and without compromising your own boundaries. Understanding their mind allows you to anticipate behaviors, respond in ways that maintain your integrity, and prevent unnecessary frustration or anxiety. You begin to recognize that avoidance is not rejection, it is a defense mechanism, a coping strategy, and a reflection of their internal struggle. This awareness empowers you to remain grounded and emotionally independent, which in turn amplifies your influence and presence in their thoughts. The avoidance fascination with you is heightened when they encounter someone who is self-aware, stable, and confident. By harnessing this knowledge, you no longer feel the need to chase attention or seek constant reassurance. Instead, you focus on your own growth, your energy, and your presence, which naturally draws them back into your orbit mentally, even if they maintain distance physically or emotionally. This approach transforms the dynamic from one of uncertainty and anxiety into one of control and empowerment for yourself. You are no longer at the mercy of their inconsistent actions. You understand the patterns and can navigate them without losing your sense of self. Awareness allows you to create healthier boundaries, foster meaningful connections, and maintain your emotional balance, all while recognizing that their thoughts and mental preoccupation with you are inevitable. When you understand the psychology behind avoidance, you see the power of patience, presence, and self-respect. You can observe without overreacting, respond without fear, and maintain authenticity without compromise. This knowledge is liberating because it shifts the focus from trying to fix someone else to mastering your own influence and presence. You begin to recognize that every interaction, every moment of connection, and every demonstration of your confidence reinforces the avoidance mental engagement, keeping you in their thoughts. By harnessing this understanding, you gain not only clarity, but also power. The power to navigate relationships with awareness, the power to maintain your own worth, and the power to be unforgettable in the minds of those who may struggle with emotional closeness. Awareness becomes a tool of influence, self-mastery, and transformation, giving you control over how you engage with others while maintaining your authenticity and strength. So, as we wrap this up, remember this. The power you hold is not in chasing attention or trying to change someone who distances themselves. The true power lies in understanding yourself, honoring your worth, and maintaining your presence and energy with confidence. When you embrace your own value, mirror your strength, and harness the knowledge of human behavior, you become unforgettable. You become someone who commands respect, curiosity, and attention naturally, not because you force it, but because your authenticity is magnetic. Carry this with you. Every interaction, every conversation, every silent moment is an opportunity to reinforce your presence, your self-respect, and your unshakable energy. You are not defined by someone else's avoidance or distance. You are defined by your own actions, your own confidence, and the impact you leave in the world. Thank you for taking the time to invest in yourself today, to understand the dynamics that shape relationships, and to recognize the extraordinary power of presence and self-worth. Remember, this is your journey, your growth, and your life to live fully and unapologetically. Stay strong, stay authentic, and continue to shine your light in a way that leaves others thinking about the value, energy, and greatness you bring into the world. Thank you for listening. Thank you for believing in yourself, and thank you for stepping into your power today. Keep moving forward with courage, clarity, and confidence because your energy matters, your presence matters, and you are truly unforgettable.